Welcome to Film Inquiry's Roundtable number 16. Thank you for taking the time to watch us for 16 different videos. Really excited today to talk about our favorite couples, since it is February, the month of love. So if you haven't watched any of these before, my name is Kristy Strouse. I'm the editor-in-chief of Film Inquiry. And I'm really excited today to have some of these amazing contributors with me to chat. So first we can just give a little introduction and then we can get into some of our picks. So I'll throw it over to Jake.
Yeah, thank you, Kristy. I'm Jake Tropila, writer-editor at Film Inquiry, currently in breezy Los Angeles, California. And yeah, excited to be back with another one of these videos. I'm going to throw it over to somebody who's not with us as often. Maria, let's hear from you next.
Hi, I'm Maria, and I'm a writer at Film Inquiry, and I am speaking from all the way over in London, but I am actually originally from Finland.
And Bailey Jo and Kat.
Hello, I'm Bailey Jo. I'm an editor and writer at Film Inquiry, and this is my assistant, Sakamoto-san. He keeps the coffee brewing, and I'm very happy to be here. I think this is my 7th one
You've done quite a few. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like the best part of my month.
Oh.
All right, so Arlin.
Kristy, hi, I'm Arlin Golden. Oh, it says my work name. Maybe I should change my name. Arlin.
We'll just call you Video Project.
I'm Arlin Golden. I've been a contributor to Film Inquiry for some amount of years, and I apologize for my bare wall. I just moved. All my movies are in boxes and stuff, and I'm just breaking lamps left and right, and happy to be here talking cinematic couples with y'all.
Right on. Where'd you move to? Still up in the Bay Area?
Yeah, I made the short jump across the bay from Oakland to SF. Apparently things, really have lightened up here. I couldn't have considered ever living here pre-COVID, so the rents have come down quite a bit. So here I am.
Right on.
Work.
And I'm in Maine, and it's currently snowing, just because I forgot to say where I was from. Anyway, so yeah, it's awesome that we have so many different locales going out. It's always fun when we have the opportunity to bring in so many different contributors from different places in the world. So it makes me very excited and happy. So thank you for coming. And yeah, so today we are talking about couples. So I've talked a few times about the Before trilogy on these roundtables. I feel like they just keep coming up for different reasons, but it's hard for me not to talk about Jesse and Celine as being one of my favorite couples in film. Obviously that's the Richard Linklater trilogy, Ethan Hawke and Julie Delpy, and it's such an interesting, because it's of course a relationship over 3 different stages of time, and I just think it really captures what the beauty is of a relationship, and how there is struggle at times, like within the final film. But I also just think they have so much chemistry, and it's just so iconic and beautiful. So I had to talk about that again for anyone who's been following these. So I'm trying to I have quite a few, but I'm just trying to be very kind of give a lot of variation. So I'm also going to say Aragorn and Arwen from Lord of the Rings, because I love Lord of the Rings, and I just think that their relationship is so beautiful, and it's kind of like at the heart of the film, even though there's so much going on and there's so many amazing characters and stories and narratives. But Viggo Mortensen and Liv Tyler is just it's a great coupling. And also just gotta throw out some shows too, because I want to mix it up. And I'm going to talk about another one I've talked about. If you know me, I love The Leftovers, and I love Carrie Coon and Justin Theroux's relationship as Kevin and Nora. I just think it's really kind of even though the show has so much going on and deals with so many different really intellectual themes, their kind of unique love story is one that really stands out. And lastly, just because I want to be quick, is Haunting of Bly Manor, which I love. I loved both the Haunting Hill House and the second one, but this is more of like a gothic romance, and I just love the relationship between Jamie and Danny, which is Amelia Eve and Victoria Pedretti. And yeah, I just thought that was a beautiful love story. it was heartbreaking at the end. If I hear I Shall Believe from Sheryl Crow, now it makes me cry. So those are, just some of my favorite couples, and there's plenty more, but you want to go, Jake?
Sure. I'll say I have a lot listed as well. It's funny, the more I just started thinking about it, the more they just all came out. I even just thought of one while you were speaking. But one of my top choices is a couple. They star in a 3-hour epic together. Their togetherness is it's electrifying, it's tense, it's filled with desire, passion, violence. I'm of course referring to Robert De Niro and Al Pacino in Heat. I honestly don't think movies don't really get better than Heat, in my opinion. And I think just seeing those two actors at the best of their abilities, it's just great to watch. And then when they finally sit down together for the first time at the diner sequence, like you're really watching this brooding love story unfold. And it's just such a wonderful, magnificent thing that Michael Mann has put together. So yeah, Heat above all else, my favorite on-screen couple. Let's hear from somebody else. Take it away. I won't pick who.
I'll go.
Right on.
First off, I thought you were totally going to say The Irishman. Like,
also good. They have a really great bromance in that movie as well.
Yeah.
Those two are so great. Okay, so for mine, I definitely went more in the direction of like non-romantic or like subtextually romantic.
Nice.
I think like right off the bat, Gus and Woodrow from Lonesome Dove, Tommy Lee Jones and Robert Duvall are the perfect little odd couple in that miniseries movie. Have you guys seen it?
I've never seen it.
Whoa, okay.
I know it's famously long.
It's like a mini series for TV, but it's every time I grew up, we ever sat down to watch it, it was just a long movie. But they play two old former Texas Rangers on this harebrained scheme to take their cattle from Texas to Montana. And one is like super charismatic and amazing. The other is super gruff, and they work together so beautifully. I highly recommend it. And the book's great too. But love Gus and Woodrow. And then I would say from the documentary Grey Gardens, Big Edie and Little Edie. It's a mother-daughter duo who are formerly like rich. They were Jackie O's like aunt and cousin, and they lived in this dilapidated mansion to the best of their abilities with hundreds of cats and raccoons, and just living their best lives as a dysfunctional couple. And it's an amazing documentary if you guys haven't seen it. And like, there's just nothing better than the two of them being catty at each other and about each other, but still being there for each other. And then I would say I really, really love the chemistry between Jeff Goldblum and Julianne Moore in The Lost World, Jurassic Park. My favorite of all the Jurassic Parks. It's Julianne Moore is so good, and especially in that movie. And I love their dynamic of she's what does she do? She just works with predators, and so that translates to working with dinosaurs in the flesh, and then he's a chaotician. They just both ooze charisma and chemistry, and I just love them in that movie. And then I would say Nicholas Engel and Danny from Hot Fuzz. My favorite of the Cornetto trilogy. It's like a really fun take on the buddy cop genre, and just how he breaks down Nicholas's walls by telling him, "I think you would have been a great Muppet." That just warms my heart. Like, such great couples. And for TV, I would say my number one forever is Andy and April from Parks and Recreation. Love them forever. I see a lot in their relationship, in my relationship with my spouse. So it's always cute to put on. And then last
Leslie
one,
and Ben. Gotta throw that out. And Leslie and Ben, Parks and Rec.
Oh yeah. I assumed you were gonna say Leslie and Ben.
I did.
But yeah, such great, overall the show has great couples, but for me personally, it's all Andy and April. But then from Cowboy Bebop, Spike Spiegel and Faye Valentine. It's like not, it should be a thing, but it's not a thing because he's in love with someone else and she's totally got a thing for him. But again, it's like they're pure like chemistry together, even as animated bounty hunters in space. And I was all very rarely watch the dub version. That's like the only thing that you have to watch dubbed, especially with the two voice actors for them. Yeah, those are like my like big OTPs in movie and film. Yeah,
I would argue there's a case to be made for Spike Spiegel and Jet Black in Cowboy Bebop, but maybe that's a discussion for another time.
Yeah, there's a lot of like intersecting things, like,
oh yeah,
but of course, like Ein and Ed.
Oh yeah, they're wonderful.
Yeah.
Ein and Ed, Spike and Vicious, Spike and Julia, Julia and Vicious, Julia and Spike.
Yeah, they're all great. I really love the sexuality between Spike and Faye, and the smoking. Like, I hate smoking, but I love when these characters do it. They do it for me.
Right on. Who would like to go next?
I'll go next.
Maria, hand raised. Very polite. Thank you.
I am very polite. If nothing else, I am polite.
Well, you are in London.
Exactly. I think one of the biggest sort of love stories of my time, I'm born in the early 90s, is Rose and Jack from Titanic. It's just, I mean, when I first saw it, my dad had got the VHS tape from his friend, and I was only allowed to watch it if I promised I wouldn't cry, because at that point everybody knew it was very sad.
Good luck with that.
It didn't quite work. So we get to the end. It's very sad, very romantic, but very sad. And my dad goes out for a smoke, and I just burst into tears and begged my mom not to tell my dad that I was crying, although you could probably hear it because I was like wailing. But in general, I think I'm just really drawn to like tragic couples, like the Romeo and Juliet type couples, which is really bad. Like Edison Jack from Brokeback Mountain, and The Notebook, Ali and Noah, or Ilsa and Rick from Casablanca, which is one of my favorite films of all time. But also, in case you can't see, I've got not one but two Guardians of the Galaxy posters on my wall. And I think Rocket and Groot are such a fantastic little couple, and they're just amazing. From TV, I think Rory and Lorelai Gilmore, they have such a great relationship and such an interesting relationship in Gilmore Girls that spans that whole 7 seasons. And I think it's quite similar to the relationship I have with my own mom. And I think that's why I'm quite drawn to it as well, just sort of seeing myself and my mom on screen in a way. And I find something really comforting about that. But other than that, I think I'm just really into really tragic, really dark and twisted and toxic love stories and couples, which isn't great if you grow up with just that, to be fair, is it? But yeah, I think that's it.
I can dig that. I like the tragic love. Can't deny.
You either got Big Edie and Little Edie, or Rory and Lorelai.
You're muted, Arlin.
I was gonna say Big Edie and Little Edie are like such a fundamentally unhealthy and codependent couple, but yes, for some reason they work. It's like, you guys keep doing your thing. It's not good for either of you, but keep on keeping on. And then Kristy's was talking about Lord of the Rings reminded me of one of my favorite kind of side key couples between Sam and like the unnamed beer maiden, like a relationship told almost entirely in like little glances. And I don't know if they talk to each other.
Is it
Maybe
Rosie? Rosie, is that her name? I think her name's Rosie, but yeah,
I
I
don't
don't
know
think
if
they talk.
I don't know if they speak it in the movie, but it's very cute when they end up together and you're like, oh, hey, it's cute. But yeah, as you mentioned, I'd love to talk about some of my fave nonfiction couples from film. These were all docs from the past 10 years that really resonated with me in different ways. I think all these couples have something aspirational to them, like goals, relationship goals a little bit. The first one I want to talk about is from a doc called School Life, which was originally called In Loco Parentis, and then they changed it to School Life, with making it like impossible to find with SEO tools, I'm sure. I don't know why they did that. But it's a great doc about this idyllic boarding school in Ireland, I think Northern Ireland. And the sort of like backbone of it is this couple, John and Amanda Leyden, who have been teaching at this school for decades and like live in a little house on the premises of the school. Have just complete chain smokers, but they have such, like a rapport that only comes from being together all day in your work and all night, in your personal life. And they're very cute to watch. And John in particular is such a great documentary protagonist, in the sense that he is completely just performing for the benefit of the camera and the audience. He'll just be in a room by himself, just like cracking jokes, and it's very pleasing to watch. The second one was from a 2013 doc from South Korea called My Love Don't Cross That River. Another couple on the older side, Jo Byung-man and Kang Kye-yeol. 76-year marriage between these two. I think it started, they talk about in the doc as an arranged marriage, but they, developed feelings clearly. And as you might guess from the title, going back to Maria's story about Titanic, I was pretty distraught at the end of that. Very heartbreaking, but they are just such an amazingly cute couple in the first part of the movie, where you're just being introduced to them. They're so playful and like free-spirited, and you can really see just like the natural rapport they have. I know in South Korea, I guess it's a thing more so for couples to have like matching outfits. They're like totally always in matching outfits. It's very cute. But yeah, as the title implies, there is sadness at the end, and with the 76-year-old marriage, you could probably guess what happens there. And the last film, very fun one, is called Dina, Dina, which is just about this couple, and both partners are on the autism spectrum, Dina Buno and Scott Levin. And I think because of their autism, they speak to each other in a really open and like frank, clear way. I guess just in an effort to, have the best communication they have. And I think it's you're sort of taken aback by it at first because it's just so kind of frank and not sugar coated like you might see some couples talk, but it's really a healthy and supportive and communicative way that they talk to each other and express. Dina, for instance, expresses her needs to Scott about like her needs in the bedroom, in a way that I think is just very like honest and refreshing to hear someone talk like that. And it's also just a really charming, heartwarming doc, with like really fun aesthetics. It's kind of like a pop pastel sort of color grading and very artful cinematography for a direct cinema doc where the camera's always on a tripod and frames are thoughtfully composed, and they're just great characters and they're entertaining to watch. And I recommend all these. These are all, to me, like 5-star films. I love all these. So yeah, docs have a lot to offer. Oh, also, Bailey Joe reminded me there was a doc that came out a few years ago called That Summer. That was sort of a follow-up to Grey Gardens. There's an actual follow-up by the Maisels called The Beals of Grey Gardens. This was another filmmaker who shot footage at Grey Gardens with Lil and Big Edie prior to the production of Grey Gardens. And if you like Grey Gardens, there's just like so many more tidbits. There's a great scene of little Edie in a chair talking about the chair she's sitting in. So yeah, I recommend that one too.
Ooh.
Good Rex already. I always love how much comes out of these roundtables. I always have a list by the end.
I know I've been
awesome.
writing titles down. It's
I know
great.
you-
These are great. And enriching.
Yeah, and so many good choices. I feel like it's a hot take to say Lost World's better than the original Jurassic Park, but I'm just, moving on.
I agree completely.
Oh, I know. I saw you nodding. No, but
That's just me passing.
well, Jeff Goldblum, I mean, I think he just oozes. I can't remember what you said it was that they oozed, but it's Jeff Goldblum. Yeah, certain charisma.
For sure.
And him and The Fly as well. That's a really.
Has anyone seen Into the Night?
No.
It's like After Hours, but it's set in LA, and it's Jeff Goldblum and Michelle Pfeiffer running through the city together. And by your reactions, I feel like you're all going to go watch it as soon as it's over. It's wonderful. Yeah, it was directed by John Landis, post Twilight Zone film Accident. So he kind of like called in every favor in the book to get the movie made, and it's actually populated with a lot of director cameos of his friends, and they were all just kind of showing up to support him. So like Cronenberg is in one scene, and Dan Aykroyd pops up for a minute. But yeah, and David Bowie's in it. He's great. He plays a hitman with a mustache. But yeah, if you want just like a really fun romp through the LA night with two of the sexiest actors ever, check out Into the Night. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, our reactions were awesome.
Yeah,
we were all like,
I can't wait. Yeah, to see them again live.
Dang.
But
dang.
yeah, and then if I could also just sort of promote some other film inquiry work, Kristy and I have been covering a lot of great films on Blind Spots, and most recently we discussed In the Mood for Love, which features a romance that never quite comes to fruition between Tony Leung and Maggie Chung, two of the most gorgeous actors ever. We also discussed Bridges of Madison County with Meryl Streep and Clint Eastwood. Please check out those episodes and those films. But if I wanted to say, we were discussing a lot of more volatile relationships. One that came to mind as one of the best depictions of a relationship or a couple I've seen is John Cassavetes' A Woman Under the Influence. Gina Rollins plays a mentally disturbed woman. She's married to Peter Falk. They have 2 kids. He goes to work at a construction site all day, and her behavior really kind of almost threatens to split up the entire family, and it's very volatile and very rough to watch. Cassavetes is very known for being a very raw and intimate filmmaker. He does not shy away from any of the difficulties that the two of them share, but like just as the film is basically on the precipice of exploding at the very end of the movie, uh, you kind of realize, oh, these two are right for each other because they know everything will eventually be okay. And Peter Falk is, Gina Rollins is obviously amazing, but Peter Falk is also secretly very good. So yeah, A Woman Under the Influence, not one for casual watching, but it feels like a stake driving through your heart while you're watching it. But it's a masterpiece. I love it.
Yeah, I think Gina Rollins in that maybe best performance ever. I don't know. It's very good.
Yeah.
And I think to your point, as volatile as it is, there's such a sense that they do really love each other and they do support each other. I think they both sort of go out on a limb even to support each other,
Yeah.
But a film, for whatever reason, that reminded me of, or a series, I guess it's both kind of, that's maybe a little the opposite of it, is Scenes from a Marriage, the Ingmar Bergman series, which I think there's also like a 3-hour film version, but watch the series if you haven't. But that's just the complete dissolution of a relationship between two people that don't belong together at all, but still very engaging and riveting, and as dry as it can be. I mean, most of it is literally just them having mostly a level-headed conversation, but for whatever reason, I just love that movie or series. And for as many things that have come out more recently about people being in relationships that are wrong, like maybe like Blue Valentine, or from
I was gonna say that.
Yeah.
Also
what I
on my list.
understand about the Zendaya John Washington movie that came out is similar, but
Malcolm and Marie.
yeah, but I think this is kind of the blueprint for films like that.
I love Blue Valentine.
Yeah, Blue Valentine is a great shout, but I kind of makes me think like Blue Valentine as well. You've got Michelle Williams and Ryan Gosling, both of whom very, very attractive people. And then, as we all saw, we reacted to Jeff Goldblum and Michelle Pfeiffer. Do you think, so does a good couple, does there have to be sort of an attraction, not between necessarily just the leads of the film or a TV show, but also between the viewer and sort of what's on screen? Do we have to find them sort of desirable for them to kind of crack it to be a top couple, a favorite couple, do you think?
I would say no, because another film I have on my list is Buffalo 66 with Vincent Gallo and Christina Ricci. The film opens, I think he's like just getting out of prison, and he immediately kidnaps Christina Ricci, and he's just like so awful to her. He's constantly belittling her and bossing her around, and he makes her attend a dinner with his folks, who are played by Ben Gazzara, and I forget who plays his mom. But they have like just this weird off-kilter relationship that forms between them, and then by the end of the movie you're like rooting for them to be together, and it's just like such a perfect little ending. But again, Vincent Gallo is not somebody who jumps out to me as like being a desirable partner, but he makes it work in the movie, to his credit. So that would be my answer, or my response to Maria's question.
Yeah, I would say no as well, but I don't know if I would throw Vincent Gallo under like that. He doesn't have a certain lore, but yeah, I would say no as well, because I don't think that's always the case. I mean, I think more often than not, the couples on screen are going to be played by attractive celebrities, because that's just how it is. But I think that you don't necessarily have to have that. If you do, I'm sure that makes it even more so. But yeah, like another one too is Phantom Thread. So, great.
Oh. See, it's the list is endless. It's so good. Even just not even Daniel Day-Lewis and Vicky Creeps, but also him and his sister are fantastic together. I love their little tiffs at the breakfast table. It's so good. Leslie Manville, that's her name.
Yeah, I mean, I personally don't think that, just because I think the ultimate like on-screen couple is um Jack Lemmon and Walter Matthau in any of their pairings movies, especially in my opinion, Grumpy Old Men. I absolutely adore that movie and those actors in that, especially because it was literally the relationship between my grandpa and his best friend. And like my nickname for my grandpa was from that movie, like the Schmuck. And I think that it's often like, oh yeah, we love to see beautiful couples, but I think it also comes back to like that chemistry thing of like, when you see it, it's like perfect and it resonates.
Or like Tommy
Um,
Boy with Chris Farley and David Spade. They have such good chemistry together.
yeah,
and it's-
like exactly. Tommy Boy's a great one. Or in Black Sheep.
right. Yes. Yeah, that's awesome. Do you have a take on it, Arlen? A question?
Yeah, I mean, I think we were talking about a woman under the influence just now. That's not a particularly desirable couple, I would say, but no less engaging. I'm trying to think of maybe who I would think is like cinema's most beautiful couple. I'm not really coming up with any, but I think it can probably do the opposite. I mean, maybe taking one just off the top of the head, like Mr. and Mrs. Smith. Like those are very beautiful people, and they clearly had chemistry. But like in real life, because they got married, but in the film, I don't know. It's like just it is what it is. So I think it can go either way. It's more just about the story and the nature of the relationship, and I think it's always more interesting when there are wrinkles and crinkles and cracks and things. Certainly more relatable because we live in a real world. So um, yeah, I don't think it's necessary.
Yeah, and we're actually getting a remake of that, which is pretty cool.
Oh right,
Reboot.
yeah, with
Phoebe Waller-Bridge, right? Isn't that who it is? Oh, that also reminds me of Fleabag, her and Andrew Scott.
Donald Glover isn't he gonna be Mr. Smith? Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, so that's pretty cool. Yeah, that also reminds me when you Mr. and Mrs. Smith, Brad Pitt and Leonardo DiCaprio in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. I love their friendship.
They should have hooked up in that movie. I think that was a huge missed opportunity. But like, come on, they're both so far into their careers. It's 2020, just make out at least. Make out, fall like off screen, and then that's all you got to do, right?
Speaking of who Brad Pitt should have made out with, Louis and Lestat from Interview with the Vampire. That is the gayest non-gay movie I've ever seen, and I'm very angry with myself that I waited until my 20s to watch it. Like, oh my god, they are so good in that. Yeah, Brad Pitt is so good at like just being paired off with other great actors, like even in Legends of the Fall or another movie, even Burn After Reading, which I didn't like, but he's great in that.
It's hilarious.
That kind of leads into a question I had, is there a film or a TV show you were watching where maybe the wrong couple ends up? And my example is I think Brad Pitt should have hooked up with Danny Ocean, played by George Clooney in Ocean's 11, and he should not have been with Tess. She didn't really seem happy to be back with him anyways. But any other the wrong couples get together, or who are your fantasy couples? We can indulge ourselves in a minute.
Headcanon OTP. I am a big Stucky fan. Steve and Bucky from the Marvel movies, like Captain America and
Oh.
the Winter Soldier.
That's who you're talking about. I was
I saw it in your eyes. I was like, okay. No, I like, again, like two really great actors with good chemistry, and it's like it's right there. It can so easily be like something more. And I like, in the end, I'm okay with how it ended up, with Cap being old and going back in time. But like I was like, yes, please, just come on, do this for me. But they weren't gonna.
I think a classic example of a terrible couple that should not have ended up together at the end of the film is, and this is something that keeps coming up, I think, online quite frequently, is Anne Hathaway's character with her boyfriend in The Devil Wears Prada. I think that's just such a classic. And I think it's, again, one of those things that a lot of the romantic films that we get, especially between probably like the 90s and the early 2000s, they're just so toxic and absolutely terrible and have no business being together and should just break up and everybody would be so much happier. But I think that's just such a classic, like, oh, they're never going to work out anyway. Just get a divorce now or break up now.
They should have just stayed apart. It doesn't make
Yeah,
sense.
because, well, that's the thing. They get apart because they're clearly terrible for each other. And then they get back together, like, why?
Lazy writing.
The grilled cheese wasn't that good.
Yeah, it's funny kind of going through, like, for me, like kind of thinking of like, okay, what are some great like romance movies? And you go through the genre and it's like, oh wow, this is the antithesis of like romance and like a good relationship, you know? Like, oh boy, especially a lot of those like rom-coms. One thing that comes to mind is like, what is it? The Ugly Truth with Gerard Butler and Katherine Heigl. I saw that in theaters and like, you know, I laughed and stuff, but it was very like, oh boy.
Cringy. It's very cringy, that movie.
But so cringy. Like, you know, it's always like bending the narrative into pretzels and then like shoehorning in that it's supposed to work in the end. Like, ugh, no.
You know, as another, I mean, I guess it kind of answers the question too, but just another pairing, just to go back to Lord of the Rings, is Frodo and Sam. And I would have been fine if they had built a life together in the Shire. But their friendship is just like, you know, one of the, I think, most heartwarming aspects of that film. So
pure.
I personally, my favorite from the Lord of the Rings is Merry and Pippin, because it's always Merry and Pippin. It's not Merry. It's not Pippin. It's Merry and Pippin. Like,
I think we'd be remiss if we didn't mention Gimli and Legolas.
Yeah, so many. There's so many.
Yeah, everyone is perfectly paired off in that series.
Yeah,
so great.
Yeah, I started
great slash fic of all of these.
For all our viewers, send in your fanfics to info@filminquiry.com.
I know I can't be the only one who ships Jack Black and Mos Def and Be Kind Rewind. But for couples that might be wrong, it's kind of a off TV one, but like Everybody in the Good Place, I feel like none of the couples in that really had any chemistry with each other. I don't really remember most of the characters' names, but I just feel like they forced people into relationships because they were there for whatever reason. And then the Jonathan Demme movie, Something Wild, you know, I think that's one that really wants you to, you know, say like, oh, there's so much match, but like it works. But for me, it just kind of felt icky, and like I just didn't see why it had to keep happening. the whole movie. And it, I know a lot of people really like that movie, but for me, it just never clicked, principally because of the weird relationship between the two leads.
Oh, I'm getting something.
Yeah, Jake may have picked that for blind spots.
I saw the welcome Orion. He's so cute.
Yeah.
I think, yeah.
Does he have a favorite couple?
Who's your favorite movie couple? That's okay.
He's like,
take
leave me
your
alone.
Oh.
Cat wrangler.
time. Yeah. Oh, there he goes. He landed safely on the couch. He's fine.
Peace. They always do. Cats are weird like that. They can.
Yeah, they're weird little landing ninjas.
They are
But,
landing ninjas. Absolutely.
Yeah. But yeah, sorry to go against what Arlen just said, but yeah, I love Something Wild, and I am very happy that they end up together in that movie, even though some of the circumstances might feel off about it. But yeah, anyone have any others they want to throw out there?
Just in general?
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah, we don't have rules.
I have one more. Maybe I like the there's two pairings in another Wong Kar-wai film, Chungking Express, is split in half. It tells the story of one couple, and then it switches like halfway through. It does a little changeover, and it tells the story of another couple. And in both cases, the lead men are cops, and one of them is this woman who I think she's an assassin. She's played by Bridget Lin in the first half, and she meets Takashi Kaneshiro, who's actually recently gone over a breakup of his own, and he's timing how if he'll go back to her by eating cans of pineapple, and he's like kind of giving himself that deadline because he has these cans that are about to expire. But then the second half is also really lovely because it's Fei Long and Tony Leung, and there's this like really incredible shot of like she works in this food court and he gets like a little coffee or something from her counter, and he's just kind of standing there drinking it, and she's just like sitting at her counter staring longingly at him, and it's like a wide shot of the two of them, and they're not moving, but like all of life is just kind of passing by them. It's such an amazing thing. And she like keeps bettering his life by breaking into his apartment and cleaning it while playing California Dreaming by the Mamas and the Papas. It's the most romantic thing I've ever seen. But yeah, that's one more that I would throw out. Chungking Express. Any Wong Kar-wai movie, I think you'll be okay. But those are my two favorites.
That reminded me, you brought up Maggie Chang. The Police Story series is another instance where I think her and Jackie Chan, she should just leave him. He disrespects her so much in every entry in that series, with lies and forgetfulness, and obviously it's for laughs, but like uncomfortable scenarios with other women that look worse and it's not what it looks like. But if I were her, I would just leave Kakoi.
I also reminded because Bailey Joe brought up Legends of the Fall, but it irks me that Julia Ormond doesn't end up with Brad Pitt at the end of that movie. For some reason. I mean, she really bounces around with the brothers, but her and Aidan Quinn just not right. Clearly, if you've seen the movie, it doesn't end well for her. But yeah, or for anyone really.
Yeah.
There's quite the fall there, but it just reminded me of that. And I sorry to say it, but one of my favorite couples too is I love Fleabag, and so Hot Priest, as you would call him, and Phoebe Waller-Bridge. I feel like you're already going to start fanning yourself, but yes, that's a great story, and just their relationship or lack thereof, or however you'd like to say it, is a really well written, funny, beautiful, heartbreaking sort of thing. So I throw that out. Also, I love Fried Green Tomatoes. Maybe not everyone loves that movie, but there's a couple of friendships and then there's a relationship that I think is really sweet as well.
I still need to see that.
Yeah, Kathy Bates, Jessica Tandy's relationship is really cute. But then also I'm trying to think of Mary Stuart Masterson and Mary Louise Parker's is.
How do you guys feel about the relationship in The Quiet Man with John Wayne and Maureen O'Hara. Have you guys seen that?
Oh, I've never seen that. No, I've always been
Oh.
meaning to.
Yeah, like
Another
it's
one
a
for the
great
list.
movie. It's my in-laws, it's their favorite movie, like together, and that's the inspiration for my husband's name. And it's very interesting, like, because it's very old school, and it's all about John Wayne is like an Irish American returning to his home country in Ireland, and he falls in love with this fiery redhead. But there's a lot of these like cultural things that he doesn't understand and he doesn't particularly like, about like needing to court her through her father and brothers, and her being like, no, you need to like be very assertive with me to prove that you're a man. And the whole thing ends with him like dragging her through a field, and it's like he's like assimilating to like the Irish culture, and it's like it is a really sweet story, but it's also like, oh whoa, okay. But yeah, it's worth watching. It's a really great movie. It's John Wayne's pretty great in it. But it's interesting to kind of look at it from like a 21st century lens at romance, because it's not like nothing like horrible happens, but it's still kind of like, oh wow, okay. And they do have like really great chemistry, which I guess happens when apparently Maureen O'Hara was the only woman John Wayne ever saw as a friend. But whatever.
Do people have any like favorite love triangles?
Probably.
I can think of.
Edward and Jacob and Bella.
That was the first thing that came to mind.
Which
I was
teams are you
thinking-
on? Are you Team Jacob or Team
Well,
Edward?
if it's the books, I'm Team Edward, and the films, Team Jacob. No, I don't know. I've never
Really?
read those books.
I'm Team Edward, but that's the thing. It's a trick question, because really when you are asking the question or answering the question, it's who do you want to be with? Do you want to be with Edward, or do you want to be with Jacob? So
Interesting.
but I mean, the way it's written, she's supposed to be with
Right.
Edward. Or it could have just been the way he wanted, and she grows up and finds someone she's actually in love with and gets to have like normal, not robotic babies.
Always preferred non-robotic babies. I'm thinking of a film with Michelle Williams called Take This Waltz. Has anyone seen it?
Oh, I love that movie.
Oh, yeah.
I think that's such a great sort of like a fascinating dynamic, because you've got Michelle Williams obviously sort of trapped between two men, and her relationship with her husband, who's played by Seth Rogen, is so comfortable and safe and cuddly, but not at all sexual. And then she meets this new man who's exciting, and there's a lot of sexual chemistry. And then at the end, there's this wonderful scene set to the song Take This Waltz, which I would not recommend watching with your parents because it might get awkward. And I think that's just such a fantastic film, and about sort of the different kinds of love there is, and how our relationship can be different with different partners. And I think that's so fascinating.
Yeah, I love that movie, and I love that sequence. It's kind of like a montage, and that song is so beautiful too.
So
but
good.
so good. And then her in the ride at the end. So yeah, I'm a fan of that movie. And Luke Kirby is pretty amazing as well as the
Oh, that's it.
third,
Yeah.
the third in there. Yeah.
I thought of a. Oh, go ahead, Bailey.
No, I really love the love triangle actual like angle that's in the show Crazy Ex-Girlfriend. I don't know if you guys have seen that. She literally has a song about being in a love triangle, because it's like a musical comedy show. And she like, the character's super smart, but she plays up being like the dumb Marilyn Monroe type. And all the characters in the show are so likable, which is surprising. So I was very like, oh my God, yeah, love triangle, let's go. But I've never thought about like that kind of scenario. I guess like the ultimate one is The Graduate, right? Awkward.
Good one.
That's a good one. Yeah.
Well,
Well, when I was real quick, just as a giant pop culture, I don't know if this is a controversial opinion or not, but I totally was of the opinion as I was reading the novels and watching the films that Hermione should have ended up with Harry and not Ron. But yeah, that's neither here nor there. But as far as great love triangles, I can't forget about James L. Brooks's Broadcast News, which is a fantastic Holly Hunter, William Hurt, and James Brooks. That's a wonderful movie. Holly Hunter is fabulous, and just the choice between two men. There's the very handsome but not very bright William Hurt, and then Albert Brooks, who really loves her, but he's like kind of he's a bit of an asshole, but and not a very good news reporter on camera. But that's one I would throw out there as a great love triangle.
Yeah, and that's like a quintessential love triangle, and you really feel for Holly in that one, because I just think both their options are so terrible.
It's true.
The only one that's coming to mind right now for me, I guess it's more platonic. Finn, Jake, and BMO on Adventure Time. It's just a pure love between those three characters that shifts from like friends to brothers to almost parent-child sometimes, and like they get in so many kooky adventures and hijinks. I just love that show, and those characters, BMO especially. But it's also a show that has a lot of lessons, I guess, about love and romance and love triangles with Finn and the various princesses, and like it's great that Marceline and Princess Bubblegum do end up together, but like, you know, he just has all these toxic attempts at love relationships with pretty much every female character on the show, and none of them are good, but those three are all good. One I don't know that there is really a good successful relationship outside of ultimately Marceline and Bubblegum. But one I really enjoy also on that show is between Tree Trunks, who's like an old elephant that bakes pie, and Mr. Pig, who's a pig. And they're funny for the reasons you might expect a pig and an elephant to be funny together.
I cannot believe the erasure of Jake and Lady Rainicorn. How dare you?
You're right. They are super healthy and aspirational couple. I'm sorry. You're totally correct. But like, I feel like, I don't know. I feel like their relationship is such like, they never give it enough space, the space that it probably deserves. Like, because Jake's always off adventuring with Finn. But you're right. That's probably the healthiest couple on that show.
It sounds like I need to check out Adventure Time.
yeah, I had no idea what you're talking about. So
Oh my god, dude. Like Adventure
Time is
like
lit.
it's like, I think it's a tough one to start because it seems on the surface, you know, I mean, it is ostensibly for children, but the audience is ultimately, I think, young adults, and millennials. But like,
Yeah.
I would say that even with the trappings and the aesthetic markers that it has, that like it is the show, I think, with the most emotional intelligence and emotional honesty of, I think, any show. Like, I think they really just explore emotions in a way that's unique, not only for kids shows, but just television in general, and they do it over the course of 10 seasons, so there's so much room to grow, and they're never beholden to plot or narrative. They're really free to just explore whatever notion they want. So it's like super freewheeling, it's super funny, it's super touching, and like, yeah, I mean, outside of Twin Peaks, it's definitely my favorite TV show.
Right on.
It's worth checking out. I dropped off because it kind of was getting like too geared towards like the adult audience, and it kind of felt less like a kids show, which is why I loved it. But I'm getting back into it, and yeah, I recommend it. It's great. Good choice, Arlin.
Adding to the list. Thank you very much.
See, this is the beauty of the Roundtable. So I thought of a couple, well, one's a love triangle and then one's like a quadruple, but with Carey Mulligan, Never Let Me Go with Keira Knightley and Andrew Garfield. I know, right? You gotta take a breath on that one. And then the other one was Far From the Madding Crowd. She's got like 3 potential kind of suitors, and they all, you know, for different reasons. Like, you know, one I feel is more physical attraction. One is more like someone, which Michael Sheen can, you know, as far as having money and you know, being
Stability.
ability, yes. And then obviously Mr. Oak, you know, got the fiery passion and love there. But yes, that's another one that I adore. So Carey has done that a couple times. But yeah, Never Let Me Go is you know, a beautiful and obviously very heartbreaking film. So check that out if you haven't seen that too.
Mm-hmm. Be prepared to cry.
Another Carey love triangle. Her, Ryan Gosling, and Oscar Isaac in Drive. Because you know, sometimes
Absolutely.
yeah, just a lot of long stares that I enjoy watching.
Wait, you're a fan of Drive?
He lives in LA.
That was
Yeah.
cute.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's a lot of, I mean, I feel like there's even more that I could think of, and there's a lot of couples. I feel like after you get off this call, I'm gonna be like, oh, I should have said this one, I should have said this one. But obviously feel free to always drop more on the comments or anything like that when we put this up on YouTube as well. And so yeah, I guess unless there's any final thoughts, we can move to Jake Trivia.
I guess I have a thought.
Sure.
Which occurred to me when you said, "Does anyone have any final thoughts?"
That's the intent.
The prompt worked. All right.
I've heard friends express throughout the years regret or, you know, various negative feelings about feeling suckered into the love narrative purported by most Hollywood cinema, and especially maybe among like Disney films that we all grew up with. Do you all see those narratives and often happy, uncomplicated endings as problematic in maybe framing the ways around which we discuss love and relationships?
Yeah, I mean, I think that, I mean, I don't have something that just pops in my head, but I know that happens a lot. I think tying like a happy ending bow on movies and also just seeming like couples are perfect, especially in a lot of rom-coms and stuff too, that can be problematic because it's not really relatable. And it's, I mean, that's why we talked about the ones that are maybe more tragic and stuff tend to be a little bit more meaningful. But yeah, I mean, I don't know if anyone has any that they think of that fits that description.
The thing that always got me growing up was like, why does there have to be like a coupling up at the end? I always felt like there doesn't have to be necessarily like a love story, especially like where it's like a boy and a girl have to get together or have to have romantic feelings. Like that always upset me kind of growing up, because it's like, you know, you at least like where I grew up, it was like, oh, if you're friends with someone of the opposite gender, that means that you like them, which isn't how the real world works. And it's kind of like, I mean, it's the entire premise of When Harry Met Sally, that men and women can't be friends, which we talked about that a couple of roundtables ago. But like, yeah, I with Disney movies, I mean, I never felt any like real thing about the love stories of that. I guess just because I wanted animals to flutter around when I sing more. But yeah, that was something that stuck with me a lot, that I really resented growing up. And also just kind of like a romanticization of like more toxic relationships, especially like in teen movies. I feel like that was kind of a detriment to a lot of people I knew.
Yeah. 90s like teen movies are just, there's a lot wrong with many of those. And also a lot of the love stories in the Disney movies growing up, like it's that fairy tale kind of idea, you know, that I mean, obviously I watched them and liked them, but I also liked the other elements more. And I actually love when movies focus on platonic relationships more between a man and a woman. Like I recently watched Together at Sundance, and that was really about just, you know, finding this connection and this bond between a man and a woman. It wasn't about you know, love in the, you know, romantic sense, and that was really refreshing. So I also concur there.
I don't know if anybody watches Married at First Sight, but there is somebody on that who is adamant that their new wife cannot have any male friends, and it's very much a red flag.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I gotta check out that show.
Dude, I just got turned on to that show. That show is a mess, but that's what it's there for.
Right. I can imagine that's
I remember there was this after The Bachelor premiered in like, I would think it was 2002 or something. Fox just like unleashed a wave of these reality romance shows, and I remember there's this one called Mr. Personality, where it's like 16 men, male contestants, all vying for the love of one woman. But the thing is, they all have to wear a colored mask, so she can't ever see their faces. She only knows who they are based on their personalities, and I guess their physical build as well. And it's hosted by Monica Lewinsky, which is weird. It was part of this like comeback tour she had a couple years after the Clinton administration ended.
That's the route she decided to take.
Yeah, the Mr. Personality. You can watch like it was canceled. You know, they didn't go further than one season, but you can watch episodes on YouTube. It's pretty crazy that was a thing.
That sounds like something I'm gonna have to go to YouTube for pretty soon.
Mr. Personality. Oh my god!
I thought you were about to start talking about Joe Millionaire. Do you remember?
That's another one. The construction worker who makes like 16 grand a year is the richest guy in the Pacific Northwest or something. But
right.
There's that one. There's also one kind of like Love at First Sight, where they took these 5 couples and they randomly paired them off, and they brought them onto the stage, but there's like a wall between them, except for a hole for the woman to fit her hand through, and the guy would propose blindly to her. And then this series would follow the relationships, and then each couple would get voted off because they weren't good fits. And then at the end, it ended up being, you know, 2 weddings were left, and then neither of them could say "I do" at the stand because they just didn't feel like they it was a bad idea, basically. But God bless Fox.
So the only like reality like romance show I was obsessed with was Flavor of Love, and then all the spinoffs.
Yeah.
The Surreal Life was like everything, and then Brigitte Nielsen and Flavor Flav.
That was crazy.
Yeah.
So great. And then
all those
you know,
VH1 like of love shows.
The Tequila show slept on too. I completely
Shot of Love with Tequila.
Shot of Love, Rock of Love, or with Brett Michael.
Rock of Love was the best. Oh my god.
So many gems.
Wasn't there one that was like Beauty and the Geek? So you had like hot people and then the geeks.
Right.
Like
Not
yeah, that
offensive
one
at
was
all.
Yeah.
That was a lot. It primed us for Big Bang Theory.
I
That
don't
was
like
the
Big Bang.
forebear. Well, I feel like I feel like we've gone off course for
But it's so
memory
fun.
lane, but it's fun. No, I'm gonna
It's
be watching
couples.
YouTube clips later of these shows. Yeah, but I
I
say we should
almost
do
asked
some.
favorite celebrity couples, but I feel like, I don't know. I always love Rooney Mara and Joaquin Phoenix. I just want to throw that out, even though some people think that's weird.
Did you hear what they named their son?
No, they're great.
Oh, I know what they named their son, but I can't think of it now.
River.
River.
River. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's really sweet. Well, all right. Let's do trivia. What do you guys say? All right. Trivia, for those who don't know, but I think you all do. I will ask 10 film and TV related trivia questions to the group. The first person to say the correct answer will earn a point. The person with the most points at the end of the game wins. In the event that there is a tiebreaker will become available. Are there any questions? Okay, here we go. Question number 1. Which film depicts the lost love between Charles and Rosebud?
Citizen
Citizen
Kane.
Kane.
Correct, Arlin.
Did
Out
one.
of the gate with a bang. Very good. 1 point for Arlen. Yes, thank you very much. All right. Question number 2. How many girlfriends did Jerry have on Seinfeld?
Like
80?
on every episode. I don't know. How many episodes are there?
Or are we gonna play the number who's close game?
We'll go who's closest. I will accept going over as a response. Bailey says 80, unless you want to change it.
Yeah, I want to say like 130.
130 for Bailey.
76.
Arlen says 76.
60.
Chris says 60.
92.
92. Excellent choices. Kristy is correct. Well, it's not 60, it's 66. So she was the
Ooh.
closest. But congratulations. Yep, Kristy earns the
Nice.
point. Yeah.
Thing I didn't know, and now I do. So that's
66 girlfriends.
Feels so good.
Not many lasted more than one episode, as Arlen said. But
Oh, yeah.
all right.
We forgot to talk about Jerry and Elaine. Dang.
It's the once
unseen relationship. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Question number 3. Which country does Before Midnight take place in?
it's
France.
no, it's yeah,
not-
no,
it's
no,
not
before
France.
the first one, it's
Switzerland?
It's not Switzerland. This is the third one.
the third
Held
one.
it- held it
That's
four
is it
things.
Greece?
It is Greece.
For some
Correct.
reason, yeah, okay.
Mamma
Correct.
mia.
All right. Question number 4. Which Lethal Weapon film introduces Joe Pesci?
Number 2.
Second.
Bailey Joe gets it. Number 2. That is correct.
Yeah, fishy.
Question number 5. Yes, 5. Did I say 3 for the last one? I don't know. Anyways, that was the 4th question. This is question number 5. In what year was the first feature-length film adaptation of Romeo and Juliet released?
1919?
Okay. We might have to go numbers again. Anyone got any other guesses? Say, was that 1970 you said?
I said 27.
1927?
$1946.
46. Immediately after World War II ended, we got to rush to the
I'm gonna-
production.
It was depressing already. It might as well.
I'm trying to remember what everyone said for answers. Geez. 19 18. I have no idea.
Oh man, with that, Kristy, you do get it right. The year was actually 1916. You were the closest. Bailey would have had it. I know she did the dollar thing. I'm sorry.
I know that it was like a long time ago, but I didn't quite.
Yeah.
My
You guys
favorite
all-
adaptation is Lion King 2, Simba's Pride.
Did you guys all have to watch that one with the guy from Austin Powers in it in your high school English classes?
The Franco Zeffirelli one.
Sure.
That yes, that is with
Sure.
Olivia Hussey. Yes, that was famously not censored by the English teacher in our 9th grade class. So yeah, we did get to see Romeo's ass. All right. Question
I saw the
number...
Wishbone version. Remember Wishbone?
The
Yes.
dog?
Yeah, the dog that teaches you to read by
Yeah,
putting
that was
himself as
awesome.
the main character.
That's right. I remember Wishbone.
Noble dog.
Yeah. All right. Question number 6. The director of the film Couples Retreat is more famously known as the star of which film?
Swingers?
No,
Yeah, that wasn't a Favreau.
he is in it.
Yeah, but I mean, it wasn't. Who the hell directed Couples Retreat? I feel like I know
And
it.
there are 2 answers I will accept for this question.
Okay.
What if I said anybody got any idea? What if I said the director's name was Peter Billingsley?
Christmas Story.
Nobody? Oh my God.
It rings a bell, but I don't know what bell.
Christmas Story.
It's correct. It rings.
You didn't hear me a second ago, I guess. Maybe I need to.
Who's Peter Billings?
He's Ralphie from Christmas Story. Yeah, the little blonde kid
Totally
with
forgot
glasses.
that he did that.
He directed Couples Retreat. I would have also accepted the Dirt Bike Kid as an answer. He was the star of that as well. All right. Question number 7. Name the actors who played the 2 leads in Perfect Strangers.
Robin Williams. No, that's the different show. Oh, the guy from The Surreal Life, right?
I've never seen this in real life.
We were talking about
You're
that
missing out.
earlier.
Writing it down.
Griffin Dune. Is he one of them?
Vern Troyer.
It's not. No, it's not Vern Troyer.
Pinchot? Is it Pinchot?
Pinchot is one of them.
I don't know this.
For the full point, do you know the other one, Kristy?
Joe, it's the one on Surreal Life.
I can't think of the name. I don't know why.
Sorry, the answer was Bronson Pinchot and Mark Lynn Baker. And also becomes a subplot in The Leftovers.
Yes.
Yeah,
I know.
which is great.
You would think that that's why I would have thought of it, considering it's actually
The one
significant-
who's the one who lives left
who
behind.
claims to
All
go
right.
and actually, yeah. Anyway.
All right. Question number 8. This is going to go fast, I feel like, because you can get 1 point for each of these. Name 3 films wherein the leads were Robert De Niro and Al Pacino.
Heat.
The Irishman.
Oh, there too.
Ronan?
The Godfather Part 2.
Not Ronan. What did you say, Kristy?
I said Godfather Part 2.
Not no, I guess there's 4. I let's say On Screen Together. Godfather Part 2 does not count.
Oh, that movie, Righteous Kill, right?
Yes. All
Yeah,
right.
I don't really like that one. Sorry.
So Kristy got a point. Bailey Joe got a point for Heat, and I think Marie got in The Irishman like just a split second before Bailey Joe. But yeah, great job. And Godfather Part 2 is also a film. But yeah, Righteous Kill is terrible.
It is also a film.
It's also a film,
It is
yeah.
a film.
We
Is
can
a film.
confirm.
From the director of 88 Minutes. All right.
Rude.
It's his resume. Don't come at me.
Harsh.
All right. Question number 9. What year did the Titanic sink?
1919.
What did you say, Kristy?
1914.
1912.
Correct.
1912. Damn it.
Ah.
Psych.
For a bonus point, Maria, do you know the date?
I used to. It's in
something 12. April something 12. No. I'm just thinking the year.
Is 12th of something.
That's what I was going to say, Kristy. April 12th.
Sorry,
I
no.
can't remember.
It was
It's
April 14th.
That's why I was saying 14. I was confusing the numbers. See what I
Okay.
did there?
That's all right. Okay.
Dang.
Question number 10. This is a familiar format, but you can each earn a point if you say a correct answer. Name 3 films wherein Ryan Gosling and Emma Stone are a romantic interest.
La La
La La
Land.
Land.
Crazy Stupid Love. Gangster Squad.
Okay. I don't know who got La La Land first, but okay, Bailey Joe raised her hand. I believe her.
I
And
think I did, but that's okay.
but
we won't fight for it.
Maria out of the gate with the other 2, Crazy Stupid Love and Gangster Squad. Nobody remembers that one. All right, excellent. Well, that puts us at 5 points for Kristy, 4 points for Maria, 3 points for Bailey Joe, and 1 point for Arlin. Do you guys want to hear the tiebreaker?
Always.
All right, so the tiebreaker is worth 18 points.
Oh.
All right, who plays older Ryan Gosling and Rachel McAdams in The Notebook?
Oh, well, it's obviously
Gina
Gina
Rollins.
Rollins and James Carter.
That is correct. both got Gina Rollins, but yes, James Garner is that one. So yeah, Kristy, you are now the new champion for trivia. I think you've unseated Bailey Joe from her time in the sun. Snaps all around. But yeah, very fun. Thank you very much, guys. That was the trivia section of the roundtable.
Yeah, that was fun. Yeah, me and Bailey Joe like to do these out.
Yeah, just passing that trophy between each other.
Yeah, we
Going
keep
from-
shipping it from Japan to Maine.
To
back.
Maine.
It arrives just in time for the roundtable too. It's weird.
Yeah.
We just
I
know.
spent so much money.
Yes. No, that was a lot of fun. Thank you, as always, Jake, for coming up with our fun trivia, themed trivia,
Thank you.
and for remembering that Godfather 2 is a film. So. No,
Apparently,
I
I think about Righteous Kill more, but
oh no, you gotta get that. Stop. I know it gives me like the shudder of that movie. But anyway, the other ones are good. But that was a lot of fun. Thank you all for joining. I think that was a great conversation. I actually think it was like just what I needed on this day. So thank you very much for joining. I think these are always just a great opportunity to connect with our Film Inquiry family. So I appreciate it. And anyone who watches, thank you for watching and putting up with our tomfoolery at times. But also please leave a comment with your favorite couple or least favorite or most toxic or the ones that should have been together that weren't, favorite triangles or whatever else we discussed, because it was a lot there. But also hopefully you get some great recs and are staying safe and keeping healthy and happy, and as always keep watching movies. So thank you, and thanks again. Have a good night, day, morning. Bye.
bye everyone.
Bye.